Life is a dance, and you are the dancer. The only way to make sense out of change is to plunge into it, move with it, and join the dance. Mooki was named after the Sanskrit word Moksha, meaning liberation. And that seemed to be the running theme of this journey, liberating ourselves from all we had held onto for so long.
We're closing the garage to my life, and we are moving on. Mooki van, here we come.
We had been thinking of moving to the Western Cape long before this journey had begun. Small town living and a simpler life. Our friends had suggested the Klein Karoo and mentioned a place called Berrydale. We did some research and decided this place needed further checking out. Making it to Berrydale and seeing how it felt for us, and if it didn't feel right, we would simply move on. After all the challenges we had faced along the way, we didn't know where we would end up really, rather choosing to just let life present itself along the way, which was also a new concept for us. This journey of ours had definitely been an adventure of a lifetime. The letting go of the old with all the grief and sorrow that comes with it, and consciously stepping into the newness now of every day with an acceptance of whatever it may bring. Our first weeks in the Drakensberg, we were running on pure adrenaline. The cold was numbing as it dulled the emotions of grief and the fact that we were both scared shitless. Did we really know what we were doing? Ali Smith says, that's what winter is, an exercise in remembering how to still yourself, then come pliantly back to life again, but to be brought back to the moment we were in over and over again. We had no guarantees of the future, and the past was just history, but the present moment was very real. And then the horrendous roads and the potholes stretching across both lanes, and the shock and horror of losing the wheels of our van, with even more adrenaline now pumping as we stood on the roadside in complete disbelief. More worry and more doubt plagued us as we thought, what next? Could we continue?
Life goes on. Mooki goes on. Ken and Tracy go on. Tracy and Ken go on.
We knew we had to go on. Going backwards was now not an option. We would keep on keeping on. So feeling raw and vulnerable, we limped into Morgan Bay, emotionally and physically exhausted. The soft light of this beautiful place, with its ocean and nature, allowed us to move through this exhausting period as we adjusted to this new transient way of life. By Port Alfred, we began to get into the groove of van living, and in that nurturing community found others to share stories with and learn from, with simple living still firmly in our thoughts. We did realize how challenging life can be without a fixed address. Van life is not as simple as it's portrayed. When constantly on the move, every day there's a new problem to be solved. And this created a little bit more uncertainty as we would wonder how we would cope permanently in this situation. Although by Titsikama and Knysna we began to relax more into it. As we overcame challenges, we learned more about the Mooki van, but more importantly about ourselves and each other.
Okay, so it's laundry day.
The little things that made our days would be great laundry facilities or clean ablution blocks with, a bonus being a bath. The roads by this point were fantastic, which made travelling much less of a worry. And by the time we reached the paradise, known as the wilderness, we'd been travelling for 5 months. We found the most perfect spot and parked up for a month at this 10 out of 10 campsite. We were in love with the wilderness and felt we could have stayed in this portal forever. Yet somehow, amongst all the beauty and the freedom we were experiencing, we began to feel untethered, ungrounded, and quite unsure of our next move. Taryn's mom was in a medically induced coma and had gone through 3 surgeries. Her chances of survival were slim. So Taryn headed home to be with her family. We wondered what to do next. Ken's knee was killing him, and I had pulled a tendon in my back, both being van injuries. When you're in a confined space and your body contracts with the cold, and you're moving in a very small space in some very strange positions, the bullies were feeling it for sure. After 30 years of living in a big home and in one location with everything we needed, this adventure had been a shock to our systems. We began longing for a place to go back to, a base to rest, and a place we could recuperate, a place where we could see a dentist as well. And when work needed to be done on the van, where would we stay? We had no mommy's house to go back to. Van life certainly had its challenges, and these are important realistic things to think about. We knew we had to keep moving forward. This whole trip was about reaching the Western Cape and checking out Berrydale, even though there was no real set plan after that. So by the wilderness, we needed to thaw out a bit, to warm up and to stretch out and allow our bodies to heal. And voila, manifest it did. We were guided to a beautiful spot, which was perfect for us, and we could see out the holiday rush with space, and it even had a fireplace. So we left our piece of paradise and headed for Swellendam, lying at the bottom of the majestic Langeberg mountain range. We spent a few days at Bontebok National Park, spaciously quiet and remote.
Shame we're going home back to somewhere else tomorrow, but who knows?
It was wonderful, and we could have stayed way longer. It was an awesome, well-organized park-up. Well, we're leaving this beautiful Bontebok National Park to Berrydale. Mooki is on the Trudeau Pass. And how's this for a view? We travelled over the mountain and through the spectacular Trudeau Pass, finally reaching our destination of Berrydale along the Route 62. We unpacked the van and soaked up the stillness of this quaint little village, sitting in a circle of mountains on the top of the Overberg. Life is a paradox, going from permanence to impermanence, and yet here we are, yearning again for some permanence. We had to sit with a very deep question. Did we want to keep moving forward in a van? Or was Berrydale our little treasure that had called us from the start? Maybe this could be our base, our place to come home to, our nest to rest. And so we took a deep breath of this clean mountain air and rested up for just a while. A flowing river continues changing its shape and its speed. It'll never go back to the way it was. Everything on this earth is the same as a river, reminding us that the only thing in the universe that will never change is in fact that everything changes constantly. I'm Tracy.
I'm Ken.
Please would you like,
Comment.
and subscribe, please?